Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. This is special episode for missing part between 220 and 221 episodes. Sorry guys for missing information. I hope you will understand. So let's start. The points he got were mostly from the 10 dangerous level missions and 2 impossible level missions. Hence, he had 1,316,060 points. Compared to the other universe level geniuses, he did have much higher amount of points. The price of this 10,000 soul control was 1.5 million. With his primal region member price of 70%, he would still need 1.05 million. After buying this 10,000 soul control, how would I buy the 4th manual of time-space scribbles? Right now I'm already almost done with the 3rd torrent rain picture. I only need to completely comprehend the 72 wonders within. After that, I'll have to go on to the next picture. Luo Feng frowned. The 1st of April manuals of time-space scribbles required 1 million points. Where would he get the points? And the time-space scribbles was left behind by the great being that created the 9-universe tablet. It was something Luo Feng left on his Mosha body to comprehend the space laws at all times. The moment he was stuck, it was easy to get inspiration from the manual. It was also a great aid to his study of the 9-universe tablet. He definitely had to buy it. No matter. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Since I am alive and living, would I ever be stuck? Luo Feng grit his teeth. Once I nurture the mother nest well, its potential will be limitless. Even if I have to use all my points, I'd still do it. Immediately, Luo Feng gently tapped the buy button. 3 prompts immediately popped up on the screen. Deal success. Deducting 1.05 million points, remaining points 266,060. Please wait, someone will immediately send the manual over. Luo Feng looked at the remaining points he had. That number 266,060 really made him feel the pinch. His points were simply not sufficient enough. Where would he get the points to purchase Time-Space Scribbles Volume 4? And domain lords on mission had to await for orders from the Virtual Universe Company. If the company didn't send anything, there would be no missions. Only when there were orders would there be points to earn. The 4th volume is 1 million points, the 5th is 10 million, the 6th is 100 million, my god. Luo Feng was in a daze. To get the best resource, he'd have to pay a hefty price, and right now he only had a little more than 260,000 points. It was simply not enough. After a while, members of the Virtual Universe Company sent the 10,000 Soul Control Manual to Yuxiong Mountain's primal region. Luo Feng personally went to receive the silver briefcase. 10,000 Soul Control Technique. Luo Feng placed the briefcase on his tablet. With a click, he opened it. Within the briefcase was a book. This book was larger than a normal 14-inch laptop, and it was 12 centimeters thick. Its pages were extremely thin. The entire book contained close to 5,000 pages. On its cover, it had 10,000 soul control on it, and in the corner it had the name TPU signed. TPU? This is the being that created this technique? Luo Feng thought. He keyed in the name in his laptop to find some information on TPU. However, the results showed that his authority wasn't enough to get anything. This 10,000 soul control is one of the top techniques to control a mother nest. To be able to create such a technique, this creator must have an extremely high position in humanity. With my primal region member status, I still don't have enough authority to search on him. Luo Feng shook his head. Not thinking more about it, he flipped open the thick book and began to read, understanding more as he read. Amongst the 29 techniques to control the mother nests, 10,000 soul control had a strong effect. Sector lords could control sector lord level mother nests, however the requirements were extremely harsh. According to what Luo Feng understood earlier, the most important thing about this technique was the 10,000 soul control. The main thing was multitasking to an extremely high level. And Luo Feng's spirit energy amplitude reached over 3,200, meaning every bit of his consciousness at its peak level could simultaneously control over 3,200 spirit energy. 10,000 soul control was split into 5 levels. First level, 1 state of mind. Second level, 10 states of mind. Third level, 100 states of mind. Fourth, 1,000 states of mind. Fifth, 10,000 states of mind. That first level was very simple. Normal sector lord level spirit readers would have to do very little work to attain success. The moment he reached that level, one could control one soul slave. The second level was much harder. Completing it would allow one to control 10 soul slaves. Normal sector Lord Spirit readers would have to use a lot of effort to attain this stage. The third level was extremely hard. Firstly, one had to reach up to 100 in soul amplitude to even have a chance of achieving this stage. Even with spirit energy amplitude reaching the normal sector Lord limit of 100, it would require many years to study and train to actually be able to control up to 100 soul slaves. The fourth level was even harder. Sector Lord Spirit readers normally had no hope of achieving this, because firstly their spirit energy amplitude had to reach 1000. Normally, only a few Emperor-level Undyings could reach this level. Even if their amplitude reached 1000, finishing this level was very hard. This level allowed one to control 1000 soul slaves. The fifth level was a legendary level. The first requirement was that one spirit energy amplitude had to reach 10,000. However, even among the great universe country leader beings, very few of them had reached such levels. According to the book, this level was one that even the creator never reached. It was written only according to theory and logical imagination. Even the creator didn't reach this 10,000 spirit energy amplitude requirement. This requirement alone had made it so that countless Undyings had no chance at all, much less the even harder training for it. However, the moment one completed it, his power would be terrifying, as they would be able to control 10,000 soul slaves. 10,000 soul slaves, they are all slaves that can train on their own. Luo Feng exclaimed. However, the requirements are too harsh. According to my guess, that demon note inheritance is split into 3 levels. The first level reaches level 3333. One spirit energy amplitude would probably hit 10,000 only if one fully accepts the inheritance. And over countless years, none have ever finished the entire inheritance, reaching the amplitude of 10,000. It must be almost impossible. The fifth, even the creator had never reached it, he only deduced and imagined it. However, for the virtual universe company to sell it, the pinnacle beings of the company must definitely have confirmed that this fifth level is possible. Luo Feng was very clear that the most pinnacle beings of the company were forces that even the creator of the demon note inheritance couldn't go against. Closing the manual, Luo Feng smiled as he sat before his desk. He was in a good mood. According to the book's description, one had to complete the third level of 10,000 soul control to have a guarantee of controlling a sector Lord Mother Nest. One had to complete the fourth level to have a chance of using undying energy to control an undying Mother Nest. As for the fifth level, even the creator hadn't completed it. He only said that one would be extremely powerful if he completed it. One had to know that even the undying Mother Nest could only produce so many undying bug soldiers. The moment one completed the fifth level, controlling 10,000 soul slaves, every one of them could train on their own with their own individual train of thought. It was like controlling 10 to 100 undying Mother Nests. It was simply overwhelming. The creator was purely fantasizing and dreaming. Luo Feng shook his head. Simply reaching spirit energy amplitude of 10,000 is unbelievable. Even over these trillions of years, there hasn't been anyone who's completed the demon note inheritance. Obviously this fifth level is even harder than becoming a universe knight. According to the technique, the higher one's amplitude is, the easier it is to train. Luo Feng looked happy. Such techniques used the amplitude as the foundation. The more solid this foundation was, the easier it was to train it, and it would also determine how high one would reach. With the soul amplitude strength of 100, one would immediately at most reach the third 100 states of mind level. Normally the closer one was to his limit, the harder it was to improve. This resulted in long periods of training and study. However, Luo Feng's spirit energy amplitude was over 3,200. Training the third level of 100 states of mind was simply a walk in the park. His foundation was sturdy. Training this was naturally countless times easier than those with amplitudes reaching only 100. According to this book, the highest I can go is the fourth level. Luo Feng thought. However, obviously this fourth level is much harder. After this technique, even though it emphasizes the importance of amplitude, in terms of law comprehension and spirit energy quantity itself, they all have requirements too. Normally undyings use undying energy to train up to the fourth level. Using world energy to complete this level is much harder. Once the plan was set, Luo Feng began to train within the Beast God Canyon. His earth body was immersed in the Pearl Core, controlling threads of world energy and training the 10,000 soul control. The Pearl Core was Luo Feng's soul core, energy core. Domain Lord level was split into genetic and spirit energy. However, after sector Lord level, they all become world energy. The Mosha body was studying the space laws. The golden horned beast continued on its copying and carving, studying the beast god presence. When it was tired, it would train its tearing sky claw. The moment it felt refreshed, it would madly carve and study the beast god presence. This study actually quickened its claw strength growth. The three bodies all trained simultaneously. Law comprehension, 10,000 soul control, beast god presence, all three were improving. Beast god canyon, it was vast and silent. Over 100 million sat around the huge beast god statue. Even along the caves in the canyon, just the number of undyings ranged up to hundreds of thousands. In a wall cave. In one particular cave, sat a stone grey armored man. It was Elder Kebu. He looked down below as though he was studying the beast god statue. In truth, the corner of his eyes were noticing one particular individual around the statue, Luo Feng. It's been 100 years. This human sits there and doesn't even move at all. Even Dylan and Saifan Chi, the two undyings, are not even moving. Elder Kebu gritted his teeth. Both of them have stopped all Gold Horn race clansmen from getting close and disturbing Luo Feng's training. As for killing Luo Feng, there's really no way to do it. In the blink of an eye, 182 years had passed. During this period, the over 100 million warriors who were sitting cross-legged around the huge beast god statue, along with those in the wall caves, 99% of them never got up once. To these universe warriors with extremely long lifespans, a short 182 years was simply nothing. Saifan Chi and Dylan sat cross-legged behind Luo Feng. Their formless undying energy protected Luo Feng's surroundings well. Mr. Dylan, His Majesty Luo Feng has been training here for close to 200 years, and he didn't even have a solid plan. When will he end? Saifan Chi turned to Dylan and asked. Dylan laughed indifferently and shook his head. His Majesty probably wants to train as long as he can. The two of them looked simultaneously at Luo Feng. Luo Feng sat there and stretched his neck, moved his waist, and with a noise he got straight up. Your Majesty. Dylan and Saifan Chi stood up. This caused the 5 sector lords and Kashna behind to open their eyes with shock, quickly standing up. These few years, sorry to trouble you all. Luo Feng turned and smiled. No problem. Dylan said. Close to 200 years is nothing. I still thought you'd be here for tens of thousands of years. Saifan Chi smiled. Luo Feng turned to look at the huge beast god statue, exclaiming within. Training for tens of thousands of years. Right. If it weren't for that mother nest on Earth, he would not be in any rush to return. Staying here and observing this beast god statue, copying it, it gave him a better understanding of the beast god presence, which was very beneficial. Even though he could look at the pictures from the Yunmo planet ship and compare them, the pictures and projection even having the same pressure. However, the feeling level was still slightly different. My perspectives are still very low. My copy of the huge beast god statue will do for now. Anyway, the true presence is in the little god statue. And the studying speed is only slightly slower, about half of it. I can still take it. Luo Feng didn't have any way around it. No matter what, he was still a member of the Virtual Universe Company. And he was the supervisor envoy. It was set that he wouldn't be able to stay for too long. 1. He may have missions to do. 2. It was time to head back and control that mother nest. He had spent so much on it, the moment he took control of it, it would become his limbs. Even Hu Yangbo had regarded control of an endless bug army as power enough to defend against powerful enemies. That meant that a sector lord level mother nest was indeed as powerful as undyings, at least stopping and obstructing them. It was best used that way. And the moment it became undying level, then it would truly be absurd, creating an undying bug army. How powerful was that? Leaving now? Saifan Chi was shocked. Beside him Kashna said too, if your majesty has no matters to attend to, you can visit more of our Gold Horn race home. No thanks, I do have matters to attend to. Otherwise, I wouldn't stop my study of the statue so abruptly. Luo Feng shook his head. Your majesty has some revelations? Saifan Chi asked curiously. Merely studying the scales. Luo Feng said. Saifan Chi nodded. Our Gold Horn race have long discovered the special properties of the scales, and the veins trigger ripples. As for its laws, that we do not know of. As long as one is an undying, he would immediately discover this trait, and because of the veins, the statue has attracted so many here to train. Even warriors of humanity are attracted. Look behind to your left, there are 3 human warriors. Those 3 are all Emperor-level undyings of humanity. Ah? Luo Feng turned to look. The three sat there cross-legged, controlling their aura. Luo Feng didn't even recognize the three of them. The gold horn race gave off the feeling of rocks and stones. That was a feeling from within. Whether it was the space beasts or humanity, they all gave off the feeling of flesh and blood. There may even be stronger humans around, but they may be staying in the Doren Palace beside. Sai Fanqi explained. Those level of beings, I don't know. Ha ha. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. All right, I'm done here. I've been very happy coming here to Laos World. Your hospitality and treatment, Elder Sai Fanqi, I will remember it. Ha ha, it's nothing, nothing. Elder Sai Fanqi was extremely happy on hearing this. The worst fear of being nice was meeting an ingrate, and Luo Feng's words had made this almost grandfather-like Elder Sai Fanqi that had been protecting him for close to 200 years very happy. Elder Sai Fanqi. Dylan spoke too. Then we'll be leaving. Sai Fanqi nodded. Kashna, we'll meet again. Luo Feng smiled at the Pagoda tribe leader's son Kashna. Let's meet again. Kashna nodded. Luo Feng and Dylan smiled. Let's go. Luo Feng ordered. Luo Feng, Dylan, and the 5 Sector Lord Guards all swiftly rushed into the skies, and as they flew, Luo Feng retrieved the Yunmo planet ship from his internal world and the cabin door opened. The 7 of them flew in. Within the control room, Luo Feng and the group stood within, gazing down at the Beast God statue through the external simulator. Let's go. Huge Beast God statue. Luo Feng gazed down, sighing within. Compared to the sacred city tablet, the encounter in the Beast God Canyon was even more important to his training. Studying the sacred tablet and acquiring the Nanshan 36 levels couldn't compare to his 182 years of constantly copying the statue while slowly strengthening and refining the Beast God presence. This presence, in the initial 2 years of study, was almost negligible, with very weak effect, at most allowing the golden horned beast to unleash its sky-tearing claw with just a little effect. However now, after 182 years, Luo Feng's control of the Beast God presence had some progress. Maybe compared to the true Beast God technique, it's a trillionth of its power. However, the Beast God statue the golden horned beast carved out already had some of the pressure. Yes. Pressure. And with the Beast God presence infused in its sky-tearing claw, it made its sky-tearing claw reach a terrifying level. My gold and space law comprehension now, in terms of power, the Beast God presence has already exceeded my law comprehension side. Luo Feng thought, if I continue to train and make the presence stronger, it would be my ultimate trump card. He knew how to use it without truly understanding it. The wonders of the ripples of the statue, Luo Feng didn't understand them at all, a 100% of zero comprehension. However, that didn't stop him from using it. At least after hundreds of millions of times copying the statue and refining it, it made him get a grasp the strength amplitude the Beast God presence gave him that exceeded his origin law side. Beast God presence. Law comprehension. 10,000 soul control technique. These 182 years, Luo Feng was mainly studying these three. The Beast God statue was the best surprise for him. And his law comprehension speed was also a pleasant surprise. Sector Lord level comprehension was also much faster. Sector Lord levels 1 day, it was akin to a Domain Lord's 1 year, 182 years akin to tens of thousands of years. And the 10,000 soul control technique training was also considered fast. First level, it took him 3 days. Second level, it took him 1 year. The third level, he just finished it in his 182nd year. Actually, compared to normal Sector Lord Pinnacle Spirit readers that required over 1 million years to finish it, his finishing of the third level within a couple of hundred of years was already absurd. His foundation was solid, only the technique itself was complex, hence it took him over 100 years to finish it. The moment he finished the third level, he couldn't wait anymore and decided to immediately leave for Earth. Standing in the control room, he gazed down at the Beast God statue. Many thoughts were flashing in his mind. 11 Luo Duo, thanks for letting me experience the Beast God presence. Luo Feng muttered. And thanks to Elder Kebu, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have even come here to Beast God Canyon. Barbata, depart. Luo Feng ordered. Rumble. The Yunmo planet ship fiercely accelerated and rushed into the skies, flying high above Laos World and quickly breaking through the atmosphere into the space. Beast God Canyon. Elder Sai Fanqi and Kashna looked up and watched the ship leave, disappearing into the skies. They've left. Kashna said softly. My mission of taking care of Luo Feng is now fully complete. Kashna, let's return to the tribe. Elder Sai Fan Chi said. Kashna replied respectfully, yes teacher. The elder waved and Kashna entered his internal world. Teleportation. Kashna immediately vanished from Beast God Canyon, simultaneously appearing within the Pagoda tribe. Elder Kebu, who had been patiently awaiting his opportunity in the cave of the canyon, looked up as the Yunmo planet ship vanished into the skies. Gritting his teeth, this human Luo Feng is completely a madman. He came to Beast God Canyon and never once visited the Doyen Palace or spoke with other humans there. He just sat there and trained. Sai Fan Chi and Dylan followed and protect him like automatons, never once leaving his side at all. And the moment he finished his study, he immediately takes his ship and leaves. This punk, seriously. How could Elder Kebu not be enraged? There were over 100 million warriors training there. In truth, there were hundreds of sector lords and domain lords that Kebu controlled and planted there. A few plans had already been made. Elder Kebu was already prepared to sacrifice himself. However, he didn't expect. Luo Feng arrived and immediately began to train, leaving straight after he finished. There was no chance at all. Master, I couldn't use any of the plans to kill human Luo Feng. Elder Kebu immediately used a sector lord he controlled to enter the virtual universe network and send out a secret report. It went through many cycles of coding, finally becoming but one of the countless mails in the virtual universe network. It finally entered a Star Traveler level member's mailbox. That Star Traveler member was one that lived in Huangman Universe Country. Within the splits of space of a god country, he swiftly reported to the upper levels. Milky Way, within the atmosphere of that greenish-blue planet, a blood-red triangular ship was swiftly passing through the atmosphere and activating its cloaking device. Earth's current security system had no way of detecting the new Yunmo planet ship. I'm back. Luo Feng stood in the control room of the ship and gazed down at the blurry continent below. After the ship broke past the cloud layers, he then could see the continuous land clearly below, the many cities, roads, etc. He would also occasionally see a few specially persevered wastelands of the Great Nirvana period. Currently these were all museum property and preserved to let the many younger generations see and experience them. Hua. The cabin door opened and Luo Feng brought Dylan and the others out of the ship, keeping it back in his internal world. Including the time spent in the dark universe, I've been away from Earth for about 183 years. Luo Feng exclaimed. Your Majesty hasn't even reached 500 years of age. Naturally, you feel that this time is long. When you step into the Sector Lord level, the time you spend simply creating your own techniques would go up to thousands of years. Only then you'll realize that to universe warriors, hundreds to thousands of years are indeed nothing more than a blink of an eye. Dylan smiled. Luo Feng looked at him speechless. Over thousands of years, a blink of an eye? He hadn't even lived for 500 years yet, not even half a blink. Let's go home. Luo Feng ordered. The seven immediately vanished from mid-air and appeared in the air above the Asian continent's Yangzhou city, quickly triggering the notice of the 3 sector lord guards stationed there. These were 3 of the 5 guards from Luo Feng's team that he had left back on Earth. Greetings, Your Majesty. The 3 sector lords rose into the sky and knelt in mid-air. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. He immediately entered his home straight after, and as the entire defense system of his living quarters was managed and designed by Barbata, as a living AI, the amount of effort he put made the system an extremely high-quality AI, even though it couldn't compare to a life form. Luo Feng's arrival naturally wouldn't trigger an attack from the AI. You don't even inform me when you return. Shushin, who was originally sitting in the quiet ancient yard with hundreds of years of history, looked at Luo Feng with shock as she stared wide-eyed. After which she smiled. You said before that your visit of the Goldhorn race Laos world would be a long one. I thought it'd be hundreds to thousands of years. At least you have the heart to come back. Luo Feng laughed along. In truth, the main reason for his return was the Bug clan mother nest. Naturally, he couldn't say this or Shushin would definitely be angry. Don't we meet in the virtual universe? Luo Feng said. How can that be the same? Shushin suddenly revealed a peculiar smile. Shall we have a ceremony for your return? Ah, forget it. Luo Feng said. Family gathering? My God. Compared to his family the last time he returned, the Luo family was much bigger than before. One had to know that in the history of China, there were some royal families that lasted for 200 to 300 years, and their members already went up to the tens of thousands. During Luo Feng's return in the past, there were only over 500 male members, the entire count was over 1,000, and as the generations got later, the number of wives married was getting more ridiculous too. He stayed on Earth for 50 years. Now it had been another 183 years. The youngest member of the family was already Luo Feng's 26th generation grandchild. Just counting those with his bloodline alone reached over tens of thousands. If he included the wives, then it'd be even bigger. And the most daring of all was Luo Kudi. His wives back then reached over 100, now his wives alone reached 1,021. And as he had many sons, plus it's still the early stages of the family expansion. Hence, Luo Kudi's lineage alone was quite high in status in the family. Forget it? This family leader hasn't returned in close to 200 years. We definitely have to have a gathering when you return. Shushin mocked. There's no way around it, there's too many people. Luo Feng laughed helplessly. It's only been close to 500 years and the men in the family have already reached hundreds of thousands. I finally understand how those ancient families in the universe have trillions in their family, having a group of sector lords just within the family. What's strange about that? Shushin exclaimed. China's history during the Three Kingdom Wars, how many were left out of our population back then? However, over 1,000 years later, the number still exceeded 1 billion. And this was when food was limited, the many generations of war lifespans were limited. If we simply just expanded, in another 100 to 200 years, the family population exceeding 100 million would be very normal. Luo Feng felt humanity's reproduction abilities were even more amazing than before. Not humanity's numbers, as long as they had enough space, food, survival environment, even if they only began with a few tens of men and women, after 100 million years, that number would be unimaginable. Hence, creating a universe country wasn't hard. The problem was there weren't enough territories. Luo Feng visited his close family and Mai Wen and some other friends. After all, he hadn't even lived for 500 years, and a star traveler's lifespan alone reached to 1,000 years. Hence, many of them were still alive. Like Mai Wen. With Luo Feng's resources, even if they weren't too hard-working, he still reached star level. With enough resources to nurture, even a pig could reach sector lord level. Of course, the amount of resources required to nurture a pig was probably enough to nurture 1 million sector lords. After staying home for a couple of days, Luo Feng brought Dylan and headed towards Shenrongjio. Shenrongjio, there stood an ancient castle with close to 10 kilometers in area. It was called an ancient castle, but in truth, in terms of size it was almost a city. Luo Feng and Dylan instantly appeared before the castle. Ancient castle. Luo Feng looked at this castle. There were signs of its age on the walls, plants sprawled all around it, and at the top of it you could see silhouettes. The formless energy was very strong, they were all universe level. There was a universe level slave team in charge of guarding this castle. Rumble. The castle's main entrance opened. From within walked out 4 people, and behind them were a group of universe-level slave guards. Greetings, Master. Greetings, Your Majesty. The 4 bowed respectfully, the slaves all knelt down. Di Fan, by Carlo, and my 2 sector lord guards, it's been hard on you. Luo Feng said. This was the place by Carlo and Di Fan were in charge of, the 2 sector lord guards were there to assist. Ah? Luo Feng looked shocked at Di Fan. Di Fan, you've broken through to sector lord level? With the 2 elders here to help me, there was a day when I was on a mountain in Shenrongjio looking into space, and unintentionally I broke through. The bald Di Fan said respectfully. Di Fan and Bai Carlo were the sole slaves he had taken in before. Back then, he only knew the slave soul imprint and used that to control them. The number of slaves he could have was extremely few. Even with Hu Yangbo's power he only controlled 9 undying slaves. It showed how little the limit was, and Luo Feng still chose those 2 as he saw their capabilities and potential. Di Fan was a slave from birth and worked hard. Even without good resources, he still reached universe level 9. Bai Ka Lo was a genius that exceeded his teacher Nuo Lanshan. After following Luo Feng, they easily broke through to domain lord level, and with the nutrition cabin that Luo Feng had provided, even though it wasn't as good as the one available at Virtual Universe Company, within a few short decades, they both reached domain lord level 9. From domain lord level 1 to 9, the nutrition liquid wasn't a problem to Luo Feng. As for sector lord level, he couldn't do so like before. Di Fan and Bai Carlo Bother reached domain lord level 9 long ago. As Luo Feng left behind 5 Sector Lord guards the last time he returned, the two could approach these 5 Sector Lord pinnacle warriors for guidance. Di Fan, however, broke through earlier to Sector Lord level. And with your Majesty's techniques and resources, this breakthrough was supposedly even harder than when I trained till Universe level 9 back then. Di Fan said. Luo Feng laughed. Work hard. Luo Feng encouraged him. By Carlo, you have to keep up. Yes, master. By Carlo bowed. These 2 soul slaves, it was his initial plan to invest heavily in them and eventually bring them around with him in battle. However, after he trained in the 10,000 soul control, the number of soul slaves he could control had grown much larger. Especially with the Bug Clan Mother Nest in hand, his vision had broadened. Normal Sector Lord Pinnacle warriors would be useless to him. The plan now was continue to nurture Di Fan and By Carlo heavily. They were after all soul slaves, and were definitely loyal. He'll let them protect the Luo family well. After chatting with the 2 of them for a while, he quickly reached the core and most dangerous place of the ancient castle. Luo Feng rubbed the fence and gazed at the huge round ball below. It had a diameter exceeding 800 meters, and its surface had many cavities with poisonous gas emitting out and spreading around. It made the entire mother nest look blurry as the poison fog engulfed the area. Many of the universe-level slave guards didn't even dare get close. Bug Clan Mother Nest. Dylan stared at it too. This mother nest was a huge treasure. Su. With a thought, Luo Feng placed the comatose mother nest within his internal world, leaving behind a huge empty pit with poisonous gas still about. We can get rid of this ancient castle. Luo Feng ordered. Di Fan and By Carlo, you 2 return to the Luo residence and see Shu Xin to await her orders. Yes, master. The 2 complied respectfully. The 2 of them became beams of light and vanished. You 2 Sector Lord guards follow me. Luo Feng ordered. As for the slave army, continue to wait here for further orders. Yes, master. The slave army complied simultaneously, shaking the land and skies. The 2 Sector Lord guards complied as well. Luo Feng didn't stay any longer. He immediately flew towards Yangju City with the 2 Sector Lords and Dylan. Since he had placed the mother nest in his internal world and he had already finished the 3rd level of the 10,000 soul control, he couldn't wait any longer. He decided to immediately lock himself in at home and use all his energy in controlling the queen of the Bug Clan Mother Nest. Luo residence, Luo Feng brought Dylan and the others back home before he immediately locked himself in. He even ordered no one to disturb him unless it was an emergency. Within the dark room, the sunlight that poked in reflected off a cold beam of light from the alloy metal ground. Luo Feng sat cross-legged on the ground, back straightened, and eyes closed. His consciousness was completely within his internal world's golden horned beast body. Internal world. In the center continent's grass patch, completely black, huge golden horned beast stood on its 4 legs. Its body length reached over 600 kilometers, and when it stood straight up, from its claws to its back alone, the height reached over 400 kilometers. Its scaled wings could cover over 1,000 kilometers in area when spread. This golden horned beast, if placed on Earth, its back alone would reach up to space. 400 kilometers tall, if the head was included, it would be even taller. The tallest mountain on Earth was only just over 8,000 meters above sea level, and that was only sea level. Compared to this, the golden horned beast head's horns far exceeded the highest mountain. In terms of body length, its torso length plus its over 600 kilometers long scaled tail. As long as the beast rolled about in the Asia continent, the entire continent would be smashed flat. The entire continent would sink. This was a true mature space beast. A Sector Lord level 6 golden horned beast, currently its internal world had a diameter exceeding 60 million kilometers, which was an incredibly vast world. At Sector Lord level, the golden horned beast swallowing normal metals and evolving would normally take 1,500 years from level 1 to 3. Levels 3 to 6, it would require 6,000 years. Level 6 to 9, it would require 36,000 years. As Luo Feng had prepared the best metal groupings, raising its efficiency to 50 times. The normal 7,500 years needed to reach level 6 had become 150 years now. Obviously, his time in Laos world had already exceeded that. Hence, the current golden horned beast and Mosha body were both Sector Lord level 6. The initial evolution was fast, as for the 7, 8 and 9 levels, they were much slower. Even with 50 times efficiency, every level would still require 240 years. Even though I'm only Sector Lord level 6, however in terms of soul consciousness, incomparable to a Sector Lord level 8 or 9 human soul. Plus, I have extremely strong willpower control, hence I'm no weaker than a human Sector Lord pinnacle. Luo Feng thought that, and my spirit energy amplitude reaching over 3,200. When unleashing the 10,000 soul control, even normal human Sector Lord pinnacles are weaker than me. This time, I definitely have to succeed on my first try. Immediately enslaving the soul of the Bug Clan Queen. Black-cloaked Luo Feng floated in mid-air beside the golden horned beast that was almost like a small planet. Gazing at the over 800-meter in diameter round ball mother nest, that ball which was filled with cavities emitted poisonous gases that filled the air, causing the grass around to rot and the surface of the ground to corrode. Time to begin. Moshe Luo Feng headed down and sat on the grass cross-legged, not moving at all as his consciousness went completely into the golden horned beast. At this time, the earth body and Moshe's consciousness were all transferred into the golden horned beast body, causing it to have all of its energy. The four thick and powerful claws, the beast gazed down at the mother nest, controlling some world energy to begin seeping in. The moment it entered, it discovered the mother nest was just like a beehive within with many caves and pathways. This was probably where large amounts of bug soldiers were produced. Within the core of the mother nest, there was a 100-meter diameter empty space. And there was but one life sleeping there. Her entire body was translucent, almost like a crystal-formed soft body. She was about 12 meters tall, with a pair of butterfly-like wings. The wings wrapped about her fragile body, almost like a thin cloth. Her curvaceous body was simply a work of art. Even while asleep, her forehead twitched slightly, it made one feel sorry for her. This was the Bug Clan Queen. A true member of the Bug Clan, it was the queens that formed the entire Bug Clan and dominated the universe, becoming one of the pinnacle races. Even if the human warriors were numerous as the clouds, the two races were still evenly matched. Bug Clan Queen, in terms of figure, her body is simply perfect. Even in her sleeping state, her charm is unbelievable. After the world energy swept past this absolutely perfect body of the Queen, it seeped in and began to search for where her soul was. The world energy became nothing, seeping through her body. The moment it entered, Luo Feng got a shock. Within her body, it was sparkling and translucent, almost like countless energy light rays that formed within. The many pathways within, along with a total of 10,000 light balls, these light balls were similar to a normal Sector Lord soul, the Pearl Core. However, as the construct of the bodies were completely different, the Queen had 10,000 soul sources. And these 10,000 light balls had countless light threads that formed a mysterious network. A formless poison began to spread within. What a mysterious construct. It makes me feel like when I had first acquired the Nameless Manual. The network within her body is a lot like the universe networks. Luo Feng was stunned. However, the differences from the two were stark. The Nameless Manual imitated the universe revolutions while this turned the other way. This was a special life form produced by the universe, it had a peculiar construct. To control her, I have to control all of her soul sources. No wonder teacher couldn't do it back then. However, he was rather powerful in soul techniques, at least he managed to put her to sleep. Begin. The golden horned beast gazed at the mother nest. Simultaneously the world energy within the internal world began to swiftly unleash the 10,000 soul control's third level. Immediately the formless world energy swiftly formed peculiar threads and countless threads interweaved, swiftly forming a blood-colored net that glowed with gold light. The blood-colored soul net flew out of the golden horned beast's body and pierced into the huge ball, entering within the Queen's body. The formless net spread open and invaded every one of the light balls. Immediately, the resplendent light network was covered in a layer of blood-colored light. Countless blood-colored threads entered every soul source. The Queen hadn't resisted at all, after all she was still in her sleeping state. It's good. Almost. I have to succeed. The golden horned beast used its full energy to control the soul net. The countless threads that invaded the Queen's body got deeper. However, as it got deeper, it actually awakened the Queen. During the deep invasion of her souls, Hu Yanbo's technique was broken. And as her soul was in true danger, she immediately awoke and began struggling. She's awake. I have to succeed now. At the critical moment, the golden horned beast, which had long used all of its 3,200 spirit energy amplitude, raised its head and howled. The 5 black horns on its forehead wrapped in complex gold engravings lit up and the light spread throughout its body. Natural ability, strengthen. Rumble. The soul invasion net it had used on the Queen immediately got strengthened and its control grew even more. Succeed. Luo Feng was giving his all, his willpower and consciousness all pushed to their limits. The Queen let out a painful howl as she opened her eyes, revealing dark blue eyes, only her gaze was very afraid. After which, she gradually quieted down and her struggled expression turned to that of calm. Her eyes were like jade water. The three consciousness returned to their bodies. In the grass patch of the internal world, black-clothed Moshe Luo Feng stood before the mother nest. He grew bigger and bigger, until finally becoming a 12-meter-tall giant. Almost like a breeze, the gentle silhouette flew out from the mother nest that emanated poisonous gas, after which she landed on the grass patch. Her butterfly-like wings gently flapped, her moving blue eyes looked on at Luo Feng, almost like he was her greatest love. Her face emanated a dark mist, making it seem unclear. "Master." The gentle voice that made one tremble within resounded. She bowed. "Able to produce trillions of ugly bug soldiers, and yet the queen is that beautiful. If people didn't know about this before, who would have guessed?" Black-cloaked Luo Feng was shocked as he spoke. "Bug Clan Queen, do you have a name?" "Master, I'm called Alina." The queen spoke. Luo Feng nodded. "From today on I'll call you Alina. You are already Sector Lord level pinnacle now. If you want to reach Undying, what do you need from me?" "Undying?" Alina's eyes turned as she smiled gently. "Master, firstly my lore abilities haven't reached the level to break through. As for resources, when my lore comprehension reaches that level, you can give me the resources then. Normally Emperor level Undyings should be able to provide sufficient resources. Anyway, for our bug clan to break through to Undying, at least from my knowledge, it is the hardest amongst our countless races." Luo Feng was helpless. "If Master wishes to help me, then you can give me enough resources for me to produce bug soldiers," Alina said softly. "With enough bug soldiers, only then can I help you in battle. From what I know, there are many types of bug soldiers," Luo Feng said. "There are many types," Alina said with some difficulty. "However, during the time of my growth I've long picked 3 main bug soldiers. I'm most proficient with these 3. If you wish to change the types, you'll have to pay quite a price. If you really wish to, it's still possible. Also, production of the soldiers is mostly split into 2 types." "Which 2 types?" Black-cloaked Luo Feng looked at the adorable Alina. "Also, what are the 3 types of soldiers you are proficient in?" Queen Alina said softly. "There are 3 types of bugs that I'm proficient in producing. The first is an armor-type bug that's extremely powerful. This bug is from the Tiger Armored Bug Clan. Specifically, it is part of the Yangtan Bug Clan. The Tiger Armored has the same quality as all armored bugs, strong defense. And its strength is reputable. It definitely belongs to one of the most exceptional fighting bug warriors. Once a group of them form a faction, it'd be very hard to break through them. And the moment all of them form an endless bug army, that's terrifying." Luo Feng nodded. He knew that the bug race could be split accordingly to their abilities, such as scanning types, fighting types, assassin, long distance, and so on. This tiger armored bug belonged to the fighting type. It was somewhat similar to the cavalry. There are indeed many types of bug clans. Luo Feng thought within. The armored type bugs alone could be split into tens of smaller divisions, and every one of those divisions could again be split into thousands of others. "Master, look, this is a tiger armored bug." The Queen Alina pointed to the grass beside her. "Who?" In mid-air, a bug completely covered in an incredibly thick shell, over 10 stories high, 30 meter, appeared. At its head portion, there were oval-shaped compound eyes which were completely protected by the shell. It was almost like a helmet was covering its head. The front of its chest plate had malevolent spikes, and its powerful bent legs behind it supported its heavy body. It gave off a feeling of sturdiness. Fierce and tough. Almost like a tank, the aura it gave off was powerful. The armor on it was completely fiery red in color, even its eyes that were completely protected were fiery red. "This is a Sector Lord Pinnacle Tiger Armored Bug," Alina introduced. "Sector Lord Pinnacle?" Luo Feng looked on with surprise at this 10-story tall building-like creature. "As our bug clan produces countless soldiers, winning with numbers, hence none of them can ever be too huge." The Queen Alina seemed to have noticed the shockingly huge golden horned beast beside it, hence she explained. "The bigger size is mostly simply for protection and defense etc. Hence the amount of resources used would constantly increase as well, just like the golden horned beast master with its huge size. If we built a Sector Lord Bug army, we couldn't build it too big." Luo Feng laughed. The mother nest was only how big? At least Queen Alina's nest had a diameter of over 800 meter. Even the undying mother nest he had encountered during his mission, the one that had killed 2 of his undying captains, that had a height of only 10 kilometers. If the mother nest was only that size, how could the soldiers be bigger? The golden horned beast from head to tail, its length exceeded over 1,200 kilometers. "Alina, do you have Sector Lord Bug soldiers?" Luo Feng asked. "I do." She nodded. "How many?" Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. "Not many." She shook her head. After the wars in the outer regions, under life-threatening situations, my bug army has almost been completely depleted, leaving behind only 11 Sector Lord Pinnacle soldiers. As for the lower-level soldiers, they are all gone. The final 11 are for my protection in dire situations. I didn't expect to be hit by a soul technique from a human, with no time to summon my soldiers before I fell asleep. The Queen, at Sector Lord level, had her own internal world. Hence, after creating a large amount of soldiers, it could completely store them within her internal world, constantly building her numbers so that she could call them out during battle. HM. Luo Feng nodded. What's the second type of soldier you can produce? The second type is a shadow-type bug called the Shadow Spear bug. It specifically comes from the Na bug clan, one that has many special properties. The great being that gave birth to me is in Na. Luo Feng nodded. The bug types, if judged harshly, there was but the queens that would be considered true life forms. The countless other soldiers created were all not even considered life forms, but rather weapons. However, these soldiers with simple intellects, it wasn't that they had no chance of evolution. The fair universe didn't cut off any hope of evolution for them. Na were one of the many originally obedient bug soldiers. Occasionally, when called out to battle, they would eat special items and go through evolution, developing their own unique sense of identity. Among the entire bug race, there were actually quite a few others that had their own sense of identity besides the Queen. However, very few actually become absolute beings. Na was one of them. The Shadow Spear clan has the traits of the shadow-type bugs with fast speeds. They are incredibly fast, almost like illusions, and their attacks are very strong too. The only weak point is that their bodies are weaker. The Queen Alina explained. Fast speeds and strong attack with weak bodies, these are the traits of the Shadow Spear bugs. Master, I don't have any of these within my internal world, they were completely used up in the outer region wars back then. Compared to the tiger-armored bugs, they are skinnier and smaller. Their shells aren't red, but a dark grey in color instead. She explained. Luo Feng nodded. One was for fighting, while another was for scanning. The tiger-armored bugs were like the cavalry, while the shadow spear bugs were like the light cavalry. The final type belongs to the biggest type of the race, the mantis type, and one of the strongest one at that, the hunting mantis clan. The hunting mantis bugs that I produce belong to the Te Luo clan. She said. The hunting mantis bugs are the strongest of the three types that I'm proficient in. It has a powerful body and shocking speed. It also has astonishing defense and incredibly nimble evasive abilities, along with naturally powerful battle abilities. Her voice gradually grew louder. The amount of resources for producing one hunting mantis allows me to create almost 5 sane-level shadow spear bugs or 2 tiger-armored bugs. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Hunting mantis? This Queen Alina was actually able to produce hunting mantis. This was an unexpected surprise. Within the Golden Horned Beast's inherited memories, it had a detailed introduction of the hunting mantis. The mantis type was a huge type within the bug race, second only to the armor type. And hunting mantis type was one of the top 7 types of mantis type. Each of the top 7 types all had their own proficiencies. The hunting mantis was sly. Master, this is a Sector Lord Pinnacle hunting mantis. I currently only have 11 Sector Lord Pinnacle bug soldiers, and among them, 8 of them are hunting mantis. The Queen said. Obviously, the bugs she trusted most were kept around. She pointed at the grass patch beside her and a huge being appeared. It was 24 meters tall. This bug was skinnier than the tiger-armored bug, but more intrepid than the shadow spear bug. Its entire body was mostly covered in a black streamlined armor with complex black scales that had green engravings on them, making it give off a demonic energy. It had thick legs and 2 blade-like forelegs, and beside them were sharp claws. A pair of compound eyes protruded out. There were even 2 horns on its head. When its mouth occasionally opened, one could see countless sharp teeth within. This was purely a fighting machine. Its body construct had given it absolute defense, nimbleness, speed, along with a pair of claws, a complete slaughtering machine. And its dense scales seemed even more advanced than the tiger-armored bug. Even if it was skinnier, its defense wasn't any weaker than the tiger-armor bugs. Master, these are the tiger-armor bugs, shadow spear bugs and hunting mantis bugs. They are the 3 that I am most proficient in producing. The Queen Alina looked at Luo Feng. Of course, other lower-level bugs like the green mantis and so on, I can easily produce them on a large scale. Those don't even require any study, and are not difficult to produce at all. Any bug clan queen can easily create those low-level bugs. Luo Feng nodded and smiled. Very good. These 3 bug soldiers, they were all top class, and the hunting mantis was the highest of the lot. When can you start producing soldiers? Luo Feng asked. Anytime. She smiled. The tiger armor bug and hunting mantis soldiers standing behind here were incredibly respectful. There are 2 ways to produce soldiers. I'll tell you and you can choose. Speak. Luo Feng listened intently. The first way is to produce them on a large scale. But I can only produce weaker hunting mantis, tiger armor, and shadow spear bugs. She spoke. Creating a few star and universe level bugs is very easy, I can produce lots of them. After which, we'll let them fight amongst themselves within and eat each other. The weaker ones will die and the strong ones will survive. The strong ones that eat the others would get stronger, and when there is only one left, that would be the most exceptional. It can then be nurtured to an incredibly intrepid Sector Lord Pinnacle level bug. Letting countless star and universe levels eat each other? Leaving only one? The bug soldiers aren't exactly the same, some have greater capabilities than others. The Queen explained. This method would get rid of the weaker ones, and the Pinnacle soldier that is produced from endless slaughter would be 10 times stronger than normal Sector Lord Pinnacle soldiers. It would be the king. The second method is the normal production method. She said. For me to produce Sector Lord Pinnacle bug soldiers, I would require sufficient resources, and I would be able to immediately produce that level of bugs. This sort of immediate production, the speed is fast and the energy usage efficiency is also much higher. After all, since I'm immediately producing them, there would a lot less wastage. However, even though their capabilities won't be weak, it would definitely not compare to the soldier that goes through countless battles and eats countless others. Luo Feng pondered after listening. Both of these methods were very interesting. Energy resources, how's the scale? Luo Feng asked. The second method has less energy usage. The first relies on them eating each other, and the efficiency of that is low. During the battles, there would be huge losses too. Hence, the scale would be less by about 100 times. The amount of resources required to produce one king soldier is equal to the amount of resources to produce 100 of the same level bug. The Queen Alina explained, Master, please choose the method. Which way to produce the soldiers? Black-cloaked Luo Feng smiled. Actually, upon hearing the detailed explanation from the Queen Alina, he had already made a decision within. I trained in the 10,000 soul control technique and am able to finally control a bug clan queen. The goal was to naturally have a huge bug army. Luo Feng thought. The bug clan is known for its sea of soldiers, and not its elite battle tactics. I may produce a few king soldiers, but the majority of the resources would be used for the large-scale production of normal soldiers. Producing one king soldier required resources enough to make 100 normal ones. No matter how intrepid. 100 king sector lord soldiers, compared to 10,000 sector lord soldiers in a group battle, it was without a doubt that the 10,000 army would win. And in individual battles, maybe one king could break through, killing many of the others. However, in a mass fight, what was required was the numbers. I'll mainly use the second method. Luo Feng ordered. Yes, Master. The Queen Alina replied gently. Tell me the resources required for the shadow spear, tiger armor, and hunting mantis bugs. Luo Feng said. No matter what, he had to clearly know each of their costs. There are many pathways for the resources, however there are mainly 3 types. The Queen smiled. The first is to simply use universe crystals. These crystals are formed from world energy, and they can form anything. Hence, using them we can completely create any type of bug soldier. However, there are many uses for the universe crystals, hence the cost for using them would be very high. The second is to search for large amounts of metal alloy remains, a few warriors or huge beast blood, a few other materials like scale shells, muscles, etc. With this large amount of materials, I can still produce bug soldiers, and since we can choose many cheap materials, the price would be much cheaper. The third kind is to collect large amounts of bug bodies, they can instantly be used to create large amounts of soldiers. The Queen smiled. Without a doubt, the first one's cost is the highest, the second is extremely low, the third requires some things. It'll depend on the quality of the bodies you collect. From what I know, purchasing the bodies within the 1008 universe countries cost too much. If you head out to the outer regions where there are countless bodies, the price may be much lower. As for just how much you have to spend, it'll depend on your ability. Luo Feng nodded. He understood there were 3 methods, the first was the simplest. Supplying universe crystals was a source that could create endless amounts of soldiers. Naturally, the simplest way was also the most expensive. Tell me the price. Luo Feng asked. If I use universe crystals to create, how much would I have to spend to produce 1 Sector Lord Pinnacle Shadow Spear, 1 Tiger Armored Bug and 1 Hunting Mantis? A Sector Lord Pinnacle Shadow Spear would require about 10 mixed elements worth of universe crystals. The Queen said. A Sector Lord Pinnacle Tiger Armored Bug would require about 25 mixed elements and a Hunting Mantis would require about 50 mixed elements. These are pretty accurate numbers. If you want to create a king, then the price would be 100 times that. Luo Feng took a deep breath. My God. Creating a king hunting mantis Sector Lord Pinnacle, that would require 5,000 mixed elements. Enough to be an undying general's entire wealth. The Mother Nest truly isn't for anyone to play with. Just buying one Sector Lord Mother Nest at the auction would lead to a price over 1 million mixed elements. And the technique to control it is just as crazy. Even if one had money, if he wasn't a superpower core member, he had no place to buy it. Luo Feng exclaimed. Just the initial investment was worth over 1 million mixed elements. Plus producing large amounts of soldiers. It was a bottomless pit, never ending. Hunting Mantis King? Just one alone would be 5,000 mixed elements. Even though it's intrepid, many Sector Lord Pinnacle warriors wouldn't be its match. However, it simply costs too much. Whether or not I'd actually make one, I'll decide in the future. Producing the cheapest Shadow Spear bug would cost 10 mixed elements per head. 10,000 of them would be about 1 million mixed elements. Too expensive. Luo Feng shook his head. He currently only had about 2 million mixed elements left in his account, and this was his teacher's inheritance. He had been investing all this while without earning. When this bit of wealth was gone too, then he'd have nothing left. My plan initially was to create a 1 million Sector Lord army. The moment 1 million of them were produced, killing in all directions, even an Emperor-level Undying, as long as he doesn't have teleportation or time stop, any kind of heavenly technique, even they wouldn't be able to handle me. Luo Feng thought. Emperor-level Undyings had their own levels in strengths. If he truly had his 1 million Sector Lord army, that would be the ultimate trump card. His strength wouldn't be weaker than an Emperor-level Undying. Alina. Luo Feng spoke. Master. The Queen looked on at Luo Feng with her jade blue eyes that were almost like water. Using metal alloy remains, blood and materials, also bug bodies, use the quantum computer to note down the amounts. Do you know how to use a quantum computer? Luo Feng looked at her, producing a quantum computer with a flip of his hand. Master, I have one. The Queen smiled. Please wait a moment. I'll immediately give you the figures of resources required to produce the soldiers. Yangju City, Luo residence. Luo Feng sat on a bamboo chair. Beside him, on the table was a pot of tea with some tea cups. Making a 1 million Sector Lord army sure isn't easy. Luo Feng sat alone there and pondered. Barbata, have you gotten any information online? I'm still checking, as there are simply too many methods to purchase the materials, all with different pricings. And the materials we are purchasing, in terms of volume, they are all materials the size of a planet. As the amount is so huge, the unit price may differ, but the overall pricings are still pretty much the same. I also have to look for the best discount. Barbata said. And there are too many people selling materials in the universe. Give me some time, about 6 hours, I'll settle it. Luo Feng nodded. These sort of calculations, Barbata the living AI would definitely do a better job than himself. Big brother. A surprised voice resounded. Luo Feng looked up. In the distance his younger brother Luo Hua had a look of surprise. Ahua. Luo Feng waved. Big brother, aren't you supposed to be locked in? Why are you out so quickly? Luo Hua walked over and with a wave, a chair floated out and landed beside. Luo Hua poured himself a cup of tea after sitting down and asked smiling, It hasn't been a day and you are already out. It's unlike your usual style. I thought it would be tens to hundreds of years. Luo Feng smiled. He had gone to simply control the Bug Clan Queen, and not train. Naturally it was fast. Right, big brother, as for the investments, I have to give you a report. He smiled at Luo Feng. Ah? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Back then when he didn't have too much wealth, as his young brother was exceptionally adept at investing, Luo Feng had decided to always give him a portion of his earnings. One reason was for him to have a huge space to maximize his talents and secondly, maybe get a huge return. However, as the amount Luo Hua controlled grew more and more, the harder it was for bigger returns. When he returned over 200 years ago, back then Luo Feng had just acquired his teacher's inheritance. After returning, he chatted with his brother and gave him a small portion, 500,000 mixed elements. This 500,000 amount, Luo Feng could still afford to lose it, hence he gave it over. Back then Luo Hua had said, Big brother, with this 500,000 mixed elements, I can immediately rise by 2 levels in the scale of properties I control, and I already have enough to enter the Universe Humans Development Financial Market. This market was the one of the highest levels of the entire 1008 universe countries. For those who are able to invest in it, the lowest requirement was 100,000 mixed elements. Hence those who are part of it, if they weren't superpowers, they had superpowers backing them. Actually this high-leveled market was aimed at attracting large amounts of investors to support the race wars. It was used to get a few Undying organizations to send Undyings to the universe secret regions etc. There were many missions. However, since it was a financial market, it would naturally generate all sorts of complex dealings. The most talented in dealing and investing were all gathered here, and the amount of wealth controlled was terrifying. Some emperor-level undyings may be on good terms with others, they could gather their resources and pass it to a genius to manage. This market was filled with perilous situations and crocodiles hidden within. Even an emperor-level undying's entire wealth would be considered small fry within this top-level market. Hence, the entry level was so absurd, normal undyings couldn't even get in requirement of 100,000 mixed elements, that was normal here. To Luohua, this high-level market had a great attractiveness, as the amounts involved here were huge, hence even a slight 10% or 20% loss were huge losses. The strong ate the weak. Geniuses were eaten. Only the genuine top brass and absolute geniuses would earn here. Luofeng had long hoped of entering this high-level market. Anyone that didn't manage to enter here meant that he wasn't truly top-notch. Big brother, when you returned the last time and gave me the 500,000 mixed elements to invest. Luohua laughed. Even though I had run simulations of investing them before, when I truly invested it, that was when I felt true terror. Terror? Luofeng was stunned. Luohua nodded, as I was careful and cautious. Even though I used the 500,000 to apply for an account to participate in this market, I only invested 10,000 mixed elements the first time. I earned some initially and hence I increased the amount to 50,000. However, after that I kept losing. But, as I was confident, I continued to increase the amount. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.